Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello and welcome back.
So, I want to cover this, which many of you may or maybe don't realize. Smithfield Foods, if you've lived in the Carolinas or been over in that area, this is one of the areas where so much of the chicken and pork production is done. Smithfield Foods is actually owned by a Chinese company. And that was big news. And it was when I was living in the Carolinas when that happened. So Smithfield Foods, the world's largest pork processor, has stopped slaughtering pigs in the United States, so-called ham capital, where the company was founded 85 years ago. Yeah, Smithfield Foods, you would think of it as definitely a typical American, in quotes, company. Not anymore, though. And here you go. The end of slaughtering in Smithfield, Virginia, is the latest reconfiguration for the company's namesake plant and follows a months-long internal review of its East Coast operations, Smithfield Foods said in a statement. The company, owned by Hong Kong-listed WH Group, is shifting slaughtering to some of its 47 other U.S. facilities and spending $5 million to upgrade the Virginia plant to produce more packaged bacon, ham, and other pork products, said Kira Lombardo, Chief Administrative Officer. Smithfield, Virginia is a tourist destination based on the history of Smithfield Foods' hometown and boasts a museum featuring the world's oldest ham.
Ew.
The company retooled its plant in 2019 to ship hog carcasses to China, which is the world's top pork consumer. And again, last year to supply more pork to U.S. customers during the COVID-19 pandemic. So to ship more back directly to China. As we know, there are not only weather wars going on, there's food wars going on. And when we look at everything happening around the globe, there's massive shortages that are so obviously in progress and will really be manifesting by the end of the year. Again, we talked to our good friend David Devine, DAP 2030, wonderful channel, and he and Christian, Ice Age Farmer, they've covered the food shortages since day one as coming. And we were talking last night about everything going on, and he's in agreement. He can't see how we can't see major issues developing by the end of the year. So, the next 6 months of the year are going to be critical, and they're going to be they're going to be opening eyes that have been closed, because it's going to get to be so apparent. And we've talked about how they have been shrinking the packaging to kind of hide it. And we talked about the inflation that's coming in, hyperinflation. There's signs everywhere as to what is coming. But one of the things I really wanted to get across to people is the fact that, unfortunately, in our standard American way of looking at things, standard American diet is truly a sad thing. You got to look past just looking at the macronutrients. Well, what are macronutrients? Well, that's basically your protein, your carbs, and your fat. And so much of the time, we look at things, we think about serving size, we might be on certain diets. You know how we were sold a low-fat diet back in the 70s, 80s, even 90s. And then we started to realize, wait a minute. A ketogenic diet, which is based on 75% of your calories coming from fat, actually has amazing health benefits for epileptics, for people with diabetes, with all sorts of other issues. Can improve cognitive function, so we started to learn that, that food pyramid we were given back in the 50s, 60s, etc., that totally got almost inversed. We realized that was a bunch of bunk. Complete bunk. And now we're learning even more because we have so much more technology to show us it's not how much you take in that's going to benefit your body. It's what you're putting into your body, because You are the foods that you eat. It's not just fuel. You got to not look at like, oh, my food is my fuel. No, your food is you. It's your physical body.
It's going to turn into human being, so it is the quality of you. And that's really important to understand. And gosh, these are all things that they really should teach us from a very small age, a very young age in school. So I'm really glad to see a lot of parents homeschooling because they could get this information across to their kids sooner. And I think it's really going to help bring up better kids.
Totally. I mean, nobody, for the most part, that's eaten a standard American diet has even given consideration to the life force, the ki, the chi, the prana, the viril. It is what animates us. Without the life force, there's no life. And things in the physical plane of existence here will start to break down, fall apart. And now with, Kirlian photography and other machines that can gauge the life force, everything that was in the East is being verified as, being correct when it comes to the way certain philosophies looked at life. And, when we look to India and Ayurveda and that whole system, again, it's about balance. It's all about balance and harmony, homeostasis, creating and keeping balance in the body, because excesses can lead to dis-ease, disharmony, and imbalance. As you see, the glowing life force, this is what animates us. This is life itself. We can look at it as the Shekinah. And so you see that when you cook foods, you lose life force. Cooked tomato, raw tomato. Cooked broccoli, raw broccoli. Cooked meat, raw meat. Not that we're going to go eat raw chicken, pork, etc., etc. And a lot of people are getting away from eating the red meats because obviously the red meats, they take so long to digest in your intestines that they vastly increase the chances of cancer, certain cancers for sure. And processed foods, if you're eating processed meats, one of the worst things you could eat is any sort of quote unquote deli meat that has nitrates. You're just soaking in potential for cancer.
Yeah.
So when you're eating, bacon with nitrates, and nitrates are used as a preservative. If you're eating,
hot dogs.
Oh, hot dogs, horrid stuff. You don't even know what's in there. Again, we talked about there being no tuna and tuna fish sandwiches.
Yep.
And there was a good question, what is in there? Well, they didn't tell us.
I know.
But I mean, we know that some of the same material that's in your yoga mat's in there.
Yeah.
This is why you got to steer clear of processed foods and eat as natural as possible. And again, if you're going to eat meats, then steer towards things that digest quicker, such as fish is the quickest, and turkey and chicken. But be careful, there's arsenic in chicken. There's, so many animals are, again, pumped with steroids, with hormones, with antibiotics. All that gets into your system and screws with your system and your body's ability to adapt. The government knows all this stuff. This was just an interesting little article from Mankind Research Unlimited. They studied dowsing, yes, the effects of electromagnetic radiation on the central nervous system, telepathy, infra and ultrasound, cranial implants, mind-altering drugs, biofeedback, synthetic telepathy, mind control, biocybernetics, Kirlian photography. Now, the president of the company denied they had any connections to the government, but many, felt that they definitely did, and they were basically carrying out these research experiments for the government. So we know, and there's been so many declassified documents showing, again, the government understands all these things. They understand what a healthy diet is as well. And yet again, is it what is pushed by, the FDA?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's money to be made in the health industry. And so, and also there's consciousness to be suppressed from expanding and being your absolute best version of yourself, the healthiest you. Well, you might wake up to everything else that's going on in the world.
Yeah, you might just do that, because if you knew exactly what to put in your body to get the best performance, so that you don't need these other entities in the white coats to give you pills to make you better, they would be out of business.
Yeah, so this gentleman went on to work at many other businesses, and again, it's all about discovering these things. Which if you look to Taoist, if philosophy, if you look into Ayurveda, again, they understood the necessity for balance and harmony. They understood that we are what we eat, and disease is disbalance, it's imbalances and all. And the value of the life force, the value of cultivating chi is imperative. If you think you're doing yourself well, like, hey, we're having two veggies tonight. There was some frozen broccoli that we had. Yeah, I got it about 6 months ago, but it was in the back there in the freezer, so pulled that out. We'll cook that with some oil and garlic, and we'll have a can of corn here. And the can of corn is canned again. There's not going to be the life force in there that there is in live, and it's probably GMO.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's going to cause all sorts of inflammation in your body. This is what we need to wake up as many people as possible about. It's more than just looking at the labels, but read labels. And anytime you see anything artificial, any sort of coloring, throw it out, get rid of it. Don't buy it in the first place. All those things are going to weaken your immune system. One of the things that you can do is sprout. And you could buy sprouts, organic sprouts from a decent grocery store and include those in salads. I mean, sprouts are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
They make your cells sing. They are so full of life force. It's, at the beginning of the plant life, when it's sprouting, there's so much chi. So you're taking in so much life force and chi, as well as good nutrients. So again, I would strongly recommend sprouting. And you could juice sprouts if you want to even go to another level. There are many people I know that, are preppers, so to speak, but also are very, very nutritionally savvy. This is the primary thing they're going to rely on, is sprouting for their nutrition in the times to come. Because if you do have a stockpile of rice, of lentils, beans, things like that, you're going to need the life force to supplement it. So you're going to need to be growing your own veggies. And sprouts, the turnaround on sprouts is so quick. In very little time, you can harvest these, get tons of nutrition, tons of nutrients, yes, but tons of life force. So, so good for you. And, we do have chi deficiencies in our standard American diet, and if you're taking in vegetable oils, make sure they're ones that are healthy, coconut oil, avocados, those are healthy oils. There's lots of nutrition in nuts and seeds as well, if you're able to eat them. And then you can soak them. People do soak nuts for better absorption as well. And there's things called adaptogen herbs, which can really, really help. And we're going to look at some products that contain those a little bit later. If you are eating lean meats, again, make sure grass-fed, pasture-raised, cage-free, wild-caught. When you look at those bags of shrimp or fish, look again. See if you see words you don't understand, which are preservatives, which are going to be inflammatory for most people, and they're going to send your body into a spiral in the wrong direction. And eating as many raw foods is a super key to amazing health. They say a raw foodist is somebody that eats 75 to 100% raw foods. And, I have strictly adhered to that for prolonged periods of time and have felt insanely amazing. And, even me and Cindy, we can definitely get tempted to go down a dark road. And we did when we were in the camper.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was just, such a pain in the butt and all, as far as the issues that we had with the camper, such as not having the running water available, so having to go wash things out at the spigot, et cetera, et cetera. But again, all good reasons to just, live off of as many live, raw, organic foods as possible, because that will definitely help you.
It sure will. And just imagine your cells are able to transform those foods, those raw foods, easily into something very healthy. So you'll notice your if you do decide to try this, the first thing that's going to change is your energy. Your energy is going to get a huge boost because your cells are going to be happy. They're not going to be moaning and groaning because it's so hard to get through the sludge of your body. You're just going to have a whole new outlook on life.
And again, it doesn't mean you have to eat 100% raw. Just try to make the bulk of it raw. And, that includes things like juicing too. Because when you get above 118 degrees when you're cooking, higher heat damages the nutrients and the enzymes, which can break down into toxins that cause disease. So raw foods can definitely help you achieve your best health. You need enzymes. And so, again, for many people, it might be so simple as to basically just have a typical dinner be, say, a piece of 4-6 ounces of healthy fish, for instance, or if you're gonna go with a little denser meat, like turkey or chicken, or you could go into alternatives. And we focus a lot on legumes and lentils and beans, and I've made things like amazing black bean burgers, which has been a very long time since I've made them. I got to remember to soak some beans.
Yes.
It's incredible what you can do. And of course, it doesn't mean, again, 100%. Just try to shift as much as you can towards raw foods. And that, again, includes juicing. And, it's so much easier to throw 6 organic carrots, in the juicer and, throw on some celery and all that, and as opposed to chomp down it all and chew it all. That's obviously, you're going to be able to take in a lot more nutrition through juicing than through eating it. But like at night for dinner, basing a big salad as the center point with a little bit of some sort of lean protein on the side. Often we'll have a mega salad and we'll throw in some Texas pecans and maybe some healthy cheese, and that'll be our source of protein to balance it out, along with trying to get like 6 or 7 different veggies in there, put some sprouts on top. It's awesome. And when we think about it, our body is actually a sort of alkaline battery running on electrons. All life-giving chemical reactions only happen when electrons or energy flows between atoms. Cooking or processing causes food to lose electrons, source of the energy your body needs. Now, the same thing too when you freeze stuff and it's been sitting in there for 6 months. You're not going to have the life force in it. And you take out canned food, it's pretty much dead food when you get down to it. Yeah, there's some nutrition. If you're starving, you got to do what you got to do. Looking at what's the challenges that are going to be ahead for us, I think it's critical to figure out what can I grow wherever I am that's going to benefit me with life force, because many people will have their Patriot pantry or Patriot type of food supply stuff that lasts for 25 years. That's going to give you macronutrients. It'll give you some micronutrients. It's not going to give you life force.
Well,
So that's going to lead to a lot of dis-ease long term.
Right. They do have these really nice kits that you can get. So no matter how small of a space you're in, you can grow sprouts. And like Mike said, the turnaround time is incredibly fast and they don't take up much space and they're so packed full of nutrition.
Yeah. So cooking and processing foods causes foods to lose electrons, the source of the energy your body needs. Things that are healthy contribute electrons energy and called alkalizing or reducing. Things that are unhealthy steal electrons and energy and are called acidic or oxidizing, which means to burn up, rust, break down, or decay. So when we look at things like cancer, well, that is a disease that thrives in an acidic environment. And basically, it's all about a lack of oxygen. So, how do we fight that? Well, we get more alkaline. We take in more live foods. The number one thing to do, in my mind, would be, focusing meals, if you can, around Live veggies as much as possible. If you can't actually chew on them, then juice them. And everybody, I would hope, would really be doing both. And your body is designed to be alkaline, like a battery, because the pH scale is logarithmic. Even a fraction of a point can create huge changes to health. Huge. So recognize this. And again, it doesn't mean you have to eat all, raw food, but just try to get the bulk from it. And you'll be amazed at the changes in your health, your energy, your clarity. The brain fog will go away, the lethargy will go away. Um, my endurance got to be insane. I almost couldn't get tired. And I found that I was only needing 4 to 6 hours of sleep a night. And we're working our way back towards that as we are now in a position where we can juice every day, where we can have a huge salad, where we can do things focused on that.
Right. And it's really important that your body, if you can juice, your body can absorb those nutrients, which is a much better transport system.
And fruits and veggies are the foundation of a healthy diet. They are low in calories and they're nutrient dense. So they're packed with vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and fiber. Real eye opener. And let me, well, there's a lot of different calculators out there. One of them is called fitday.com. And there's so many other, basically they're food logs that you could sign up for. It doesn't cost anything. Keep track of your macro and micronutrients. And you could even put out there different plans, like where you want to be. Like, I weigh 180 right now. Maybe I want to weigh 165 or something like that. And you could put it in there, give a time frame, and they'll give you a plan. But one of the things that's a huge eye opener is, and this was for me decades ago, was I was looking at things and thinking I had all the bases covered, and there were certain nutritional deficiencies that kept coming up, even though I was eating a very healthy diet compared to a standard American diet. And so that was really eye-opening. And again, focusing on the fruits and the veggies are huge, and that rainbow. Focus on the rainbow. Get different colors in there. As you see, there's different colored fruits and veggies. That kind of helps us to make sure that we're going to be getting all of our nutrition.
And you can correlate them to the chakras too.
Yes, you can. They are related to the chakras again. So as many of you guys know, we are affiliated with Medicinal Foods, and we've had such great feedback from everybody that has been trying it. There's a Qi tonic which can help you. Again, it's a powerful Qi vitality tonic based on 4,000 years of tonic herbal wisdom. Ancient Taoist and Zen masters ate these superior herbs as superfoods for radiant health of body, mind, and spirit. Many of these powerful adaptogens help resist stress, replenish energy and life force, tonifying the organs and the blood. And that would be a good way, and this is it right here, to go ahead and it's easier and simpler than growing the herbs ourselves. But if we're able to do that, that's a wonderful thing too. And one of the main focuses is going to be on growing herbs and growing sprouts as far as for us personally. And when I did have Lyme's, my naturopath wanted me having cordyceps, and this is a micro shrooms blend of reishi, cordyceps, chaga, and lion's mane. And these are near nanoparticle sizes, so they go straight into the bloodstream. Very, very beneficial for energy, again, immune system function, very, very important. And there's a link on every video because when you do order from Medicinal Foods, it does support the channel and helps us keep going and making the videos and working on people. And if you guys do need to set up an appointment for energy work, biofield tuning, astrological charts, just spiritual and health coaching, feel free to reach out to us, evolutionaryenergyarts@gmail.com or EEARTS@protonmail.com. And I want to thank the Patreons and the supporters over on Ko-Fi because we couldn't do it without you guys. As always, guys, in good health, stay prepared, think about all the bases that need to be covered. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.